So Frankie Chappa wants me to ask you about your philanthropy in high school, organizing statewide clothing drive, and yes, that's it. So tell us about that.
That's actually a good example. Like I was saying earlier, when I moved back to Bangor, there were very few people blocking the way of trying to do things. I think in high school, I learned at some point that if I wanted to organize an activity or participate in something or drive a cause forward, there were no roadblocks. Yeah, just do it. If anything, people, teachers, faculty, staff, family members, neighbors would actually lift you up to support you. Yeah. I think a lot of people, if they have a goal or they see, I wish I could be on city council or something, got to start. Got to start somewhere and got to try. And I mean, people will bring different skill sets and organizational styles to it, but if you want to do something, there's not always things in the way to do it. Yeah, you can just do it. And high school kind of taught me that in some ways. With the activity she's talking about was a clothing drive we did that morphed into this huge thing of 13, 14, 15 different schools in the area all doing clothing drives simultaneously, and we raised tens of thousands of articles of clothing that was distributed, some in Maine, a lot in Central America, and ended up being a really key part of my high school career, I think. And I mean, I didn't do it as a resume builder, but I think it was probably the organization of that was probably something that helped me in pursuing further things. Not to mention the skills learned from organizing activities when you're young, but I don't know. High school was good in that way that if you wanted to do something, you could generally just do it.
Just do it. Yeah, it's funny, when we did the first Kabang Festival on the waterfront, we went to City Hall and we're like, oh my God, what are they going to require of us? And it was this little old lady named Rose, and she goes, oh, you just fill out this permit here and it's $35. Yeah. And I looked at Tim and I was like, okay, so we have the waterfront first ticketed event for a huge concert, and we just paid $35. It's very different now, obviously. Fast forward 10 years. But it just goes to show you sometimes the barriers to entry aren't what you think they are.
Exactly.
And you can just go and do it. And also, I want to clarify this, because in past interviews I have always claimed that Kabang was the first ticketed event at the waterfront. And my friend John Leonard, who's Stephen King's nephew, pointed out at one point Stephen King, I think 15 years ago, I don't remember which band it was, but he had a ticketed event on the waterfront where he put up like orange snow fencing. It was a very small thing. Nice. I think like 1,000 people came. Yeah. But I got to give credit where credit is due. Stephen King beat me to it. Yeah. And before that, there's always the folk festival that's free. Yeah. So we always claim we were the first ticketed event. Yeah.
Every time the folk festival gets named as the first major event on the waterfront, there's these Shakespeare in the Park people that come out too, and they always claim that.
I don't want to claim things because I'm like, maybe I wasn't the first, and then of course found out I wasn't. So. Yeah. But I like that you said that you should just do it, Nike style.
Yeah. No, the phrase you use, barriers to entry, are sometimes non-existent. That's exactly right. Yeah, the barriers are mental or not logistical, and certainly not personal.
Yeah, you don't know until you ask.
Right.
You just watched a segment of the show Chasms of the Mind. To see the full episode, click the link below.